this computer. Hello. This is Laura DuBois.
Hello, Wendy Frederick-Gill. I'm loving your bouncy, your hair.
I had a piggy like this the other day, and somebody said it made their day to see my poof-ball piggy. So I thought I'd do 2 for 1 here.
Yeah, and your hair is like long. Last time I saw you, your hair was not that long. I don't think you could have done that.
No, I couldn't have. But this is not good. I need help. The salon's
Oh,
open soon.
this is like a national roots, like rock your roots.
National root crisis.
Yeah.
So I wanted to chat with Laura today because she is in my tribe of health coaches, and we met through Health Coach Institute. We started our health coaching training together, and I don't even remember if we met towards the beginning or exactly how we started talking. I think, they would match us up with skills labs, and yeah. We reached out that way, and
yeah,
that was back in, we started in October of 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we started doing skills labs, and we found we were very simpatico. You were at the time working your butt off as a business owner, small business owner in hairstyling, and I was working full-time my butt off as a manager of a small physical therapy clinic, and we were both like exhausted.
And we had teenagers, had kids. Yeah. So we had that in common.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it just went from there. And then when we met for the first time, 6 months later at the first live event. Yeah. And then later on down the road became roommates. So yeah, it's all blending together, but I hardly even remember those first skills labs, but I know that that's how I met you. It was through skills labs. We were practicing with each other on the coaching techniques that was offered.
Well, what's funny is when obviously I only knew you through talking. And so I was looking for so long at your profile picture on Facebook. And so when I met you the first time, your hair looked completely different. So you had said hi to me, and I just was being nice, like, hey, like it went over my head that it was you because your hair was different.
Yeah.
And so that was really funny. Once I realized that it was you, I felt horrible because I was just like, hey.
But I did look very different because when I started the BHC journey, I was just off of completing chemotherapy. I had battled breast cancer, and so my hair was just beginning to grow back. And so that was the picture I had that you had seen. So by the time I got to the live event, it had grown out some, and I didn't look the same. So I totally get that you didn't know who I was. And I've changed, my look has changed so much, like in the last 3 years. Now I'm back to my normal me. If you knew me before, you'd be like, oh, there's no difference. But I had to go through all those changes along the way, my hair growing out, and I had curly hair for a while, and now it's back to straight.
Yeah, you got the chemo curl.
Chemo curl. Yeah, that was fun while it lasted. I wouldn't want to, that's not the way you want to get a curly hair. No. But since I did have it, it was kind of fun to have while it lasted.
Yeah. So tell everybody where you live. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa.
And I'm in a suburb of Boston, about 25 miles north of Boston, Massachusetts. It's kind of cloudy around here today.
Yeah, it's cloudy here too. It's supposed to turn into ice.
Oh. I remember we got a blizzard April 1st many years ago around here. And it was like the April Fool's Day blizzard. So yeah, you never know, especially in New England. I don't know what it's like in Iowa, but can you get snow way into the...
Oh yeah, we've gotten a snowstorm in early April before.
Yeah, hopefully we're past that.
But fortunately, everybody's home, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to shovel or snow blow or plow, so just stay home.
Yep.
How you doing staying home?
It's been okay. I mean, I've been working from home. I do have an office, but I'm working from home now, so it doesn't really feel that different for me.
Yeah, and I'm probably like a 60-40 blend right now between I'm still working as a physical therapist part-time, and the rest of the time I'm coaching. So the physical therapy clinic closed a couple of weeks ago, so now I'm 100% at home. But it's not completely foreign to me, so But I'm like, wow, I have like 20 extra hours a week. Ooh, what do I do at this time? Ooh, I
Yeah,
have so many things I can do, but I haven't done them all,
I know. I've been
you know?
trying to clean, like I've cleaned out 2
Oh,
closets, purging.
yeah, I'm looking at the basement as a big project, and then I go, oh, it needs to be done. And I've been saying it since, let's see, it's 2020. I've been saying it since 2014. I got remarried in 2014, and when my husband moved in, he brought all his stuff that he didn't go through. And oh yeah, I'll do that when I get there. It's almost 6 years later. It's still down there, and
I know,
even more stuff.
should it just go straight to the trash? Like if I haven't needed it in 6 years, why do I still have it? Should we just take it straight to the trash? That's kind of what I've been thinking.
I know. It's like one of those. One of the first things we do as coaches is we teach people clear the clutter, so you can have a nice clean slate to work from. But see, I don't go down in the basement other than to do the laundry. And I don't know, I'm able to just put those blinders on and walk right through the path and not see it. But now I'm starting to see it because I'm home more.
Yes. So maybe just one bin at a time, right?
Oh, maybe one bin at a time. Yeah, I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, what brought you to coaching? Like how did you even
Yeah,
world?
before, it's kind of a long story. Do you want the long story or the short story?
Middle.
The middle story. Okay, perfect. Okay, so a couple of things brought me to coaching. Prior to being diagnosed with cancer, I was working, crazy, 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 exhausted all the time. And I thought I wanted something different. I wanted my career to go in a different direction. And I actually hired a career coach to help me figure that out. And she did a bunch of assessments with me, and I worked with her for about 6 weeks, maybe 10 weeks, 6 to 10 weeks, somewhere in there. And she identified that health coaching would be a great fit for me. And I had never heard of it at the time. And I just kind of wrote it down and stuck it off to the side. It wasn't really where I was focusing. I was focusing on doing something else. And while I was all that focusing on doing something else with my career, that's when I found out I had cancer. So everything stopped. Everything stopped for a year. I just went into treatment mode, and for a year, that's all I did. But I had a lot of time to think. And I started toward the end when I went back to work. And within a couple of weeks, I was like, I still have that same old feeling. I was grateful that I had the job that I had, but I still had that same old feeling that there was something else that I needed to do. And I found myself leafing through the notebooks all the notes that I'd kept during my time with the career coach. And then the health coach was there, and it was starred and circled. And I said, okay, I have all this time. I think I'm going to start looking into this now. So I did. And then the school that you and I both went to popped up, and I researched it, and I researched some other schools. And the one that we chose was the right fit for me. So I just jumped in. I think it was like 2 more days to enroll for that cohort, and I did it. And I have not regretted it one second. And
I
that
love
was,
it.
yeah, October of 2017. Joined that 6-month course. And then since then, I've taken multiple other deeper courses for coaching
Mhm.
and started my own coaching practice.
So I'm curious, how did you find out about your cancer? Like, did you feel something, or did it show up in a mammogram?
I went for my regular mammogram. I had just had my 50th birthday, and I always schedule those around my birthday because it just reminds me.
Yeah.
And I had been on vacation, and I wasn't back to work yet, and I had the mammogram. It was September 1st, and they were taking lots of pictures, more than normal. And then I got dressed, and then the radiologist said, no, I'm sorry, the tech was like, she seemed apologetic. And she says, I think the radiologist here, and she's reading them now, and we didn't get good readings. She wants you to take a few more pictures. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't even think that it was anything wrong. I thought that the tech was just kind of feeling bad that she didn't set me up right because she was acting kind of funny. And then, so we took extra pictures. And then when the actual radiologist came out from behind like the curtain, she was in like another room, and she just kind of sat down with me face to face and told me, I see something.
Like right then and there.
Right then and there, she said, I see something. She goes, I'm not sure it's that, but I think we need to look into this more. So I'm scheduling you for a biopsy. And that word is very scary, you know. So I had the biopsy, and then that confirmed it. And then also an MRI, and that all confirmed everything. And then it was like, oh gosh, now what do we do? So I actually found out for sure. And it's funny, whenever you talk to somebody who's been diagnosed with any kind of cancer, they can pretty much pinpoint exactly where they were when they were told, what they had on, who they were with, what they were doing, all of that stuff. And I was home alone. It was around 10 in the morning. And I was still sore from the biopsy and hadn't gone back to work yet. And the phone rang, and it was the radiologist, and she just told me. And then I was like, I kind of like compartmentalized it and disassociated myself. I just listened to it as if I was listening to it from the healthcare provider point of view. I didn't personalize it yet. I was just took it. I was taking notes as if, you know, okay, this is what we have to do next. Okay. I was like super calm. Like, okay. And then hung up, and I was alone in my house. And about maybe 15 minutes went by. I just let that settle in. And then I was like, I got to tell somebody. So I texted my husband. He was at work. And I didn't expect him to come home or anything. I was just like, oh, I got the results. And, you know, and
Had they
within like
given you
an
a
hour,
stage
he was
at that
home.
point? Had they
Pardon
given,
me?
did they give you a stage?
Not at that, no, not at that point. Because I still have to have the MRI and stuff. So with the biopsy, she said it was early. She said it was, they call it intraductal, I can't remember now, I've like blocked it out. DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ. So it was within the ducts of the breast.
Okay.
And she, with the biopsy, they could tell what kind of cell it was. So it was with the MRI and then some other stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm like unclear. Like I blocked this out. But they found out it was micro invasion. So it was a little bit not just in the duct.
Okay. How old were your kids at this point?
Okay, so I was 50, 16 and 14. My son was 16 and my daughter was 14. Yeah. Kind of young. My son, oh my God, how cute. From the time he found out, pretty much almost from the time he found out, he put on a pink rubber bracelet.
Oh.
He wore that like for like the next 2 years around his wrist.
Yeah.
For me.
So going through that experience and then starting, like, how do you feel like that changed your view even of health coaching? Like, was that just kind of always at the back of your mind? Did you think that that's who you'd want to work with? Or how did that impact your experience, you know, going through the health coach training?
Great question. So going through the health coach training, it was actually very healing for me going through that because I had just finished chemo. Not just, it had been a few months, but I was still exhausted. And I had had multiple surgeries and one major surgery a few months before I started Health Coach Institute. And so I just wasn't really back to my whole energetic self. And so going through that program and doing all the things to myself that I was learning to be able to take someone else through, it changed everything for me. I overhauled everything. I overhauled how I eat, how I drink, how I sleep, how I think. I mean, everything changed. And so even if I had never become an actual coach from that, that would have been worth it for me. Yeah. Of course, I really think it should be for every human. So then when it came time to like actually start coaching, I have the certification, like, oh, who am I supposed to coach? I didn't know who I needed to coach yet. And so it was just kind of general at first as I was getting my feet wet. And then I took another coach course that took a year. And through that was led to the calling of working with women who are recovering from breast cancer. And I did that for a year.
Mm-hmm. I bet that was very rewarding.
It was until it wasn't.
Uh-huh.
It was. And a lot of the stuff I did was volunteer, and that was the rewarding part, I guess. I volunteered in one of our major cancer centers here in Boston, the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and I was what they call a peer mentor. So they would match me up with someone else, and then I would be, speaking with them about once a week or more often if they needed. And at one point I had 3 women that I was mentoring, and then we'd get together once a month in person if they could come. There was like a speaker and a dinner at the actual hospital, and that was all great. But then coaching women with breast cancer, I found honestly to be really hard. And it was more than I bargained for. It was kind of triggering for me. I was hearing all kinds of tough stuff that I myself had not gone through. So when they matched me up as a mentor, they were matching me to people who had had similar experiences. And then when I opened it up to like other women, there are so many other women with so many different kinds of experiences, so many different types of breast cancer. And I felt really fortunate, really lucky that I had amazing care. I was talking to women all over this country, a lot of them in rural places who weren't getting the same care, and it was just breaking my heart. And what really sealed it for me was the day a woman in Colorado texted me a bunch of pictures of her post-op, and it was months and she wasn't healing. Mm-hmm. And I didn't ask for those pictures. She sent them to me, and that was a turning point for me. I was like, you know what? I'm not the right person to coach these women because it's getting into me too much. I can't be that person for them. So then I pivoted, and now I don't coach that group anymore. But I do refer out. There's lots of amazing resources for women recovering from breast cancer, and I'm still involved with one particular group, and I've sent lots of people to this group, people that I'm no longer coaching, and they get lots of resources through there.
Yeah. Well, I remember one time I talked to you, and I found this so interesting. With coaching, a lot of what we do is, in order to move forward, we have to clear clutter. We have to let some old stuff go to make room for new. And so I remember one time you said to me, you got to a point where you were like, you didn't want breast cancer to be your identity anymore. You were like, I'm over the pink stuff. I'm over, like, you were ready to move on. Because I think it's really easy to become a victim of something and to stay trapped in that identity. And I think sometimes that can inhibit people from moving past it. So I just remember one time we had a conversation, and it really blew my mind. Like, I guess I had never thought of that. At what point do you drop that? You always want to celebrate that you're a survivor. Mm-hmm. I think you even maybe changed the wording. I think you said a
thriver.
Thriver, yeah. So speak to that a little bit.
So to me, there's a difference between a survivor and a thriver. A survivor, you're a survivor from day one. From the time that you're diagnosed, from that second on, you're a survivor until you die.
Yeah.
And that is just because you were diagnosed. A thriver, to me, is someone who moves forward despite all that and continues to live life and doesn't get and I don't mean live life in what I mean by that is that you don't let it keep you down. You don't let it mess with your mindset too much, that you still can show up with joy and wonder and curiosity about the world, and not be in like a box of, oh my God, I have cancer. Oh my God, I mean, is it going to come back? Because that's one of the biggest fears of anyone who's been diagnosed with cancer is this going to come back? And oh my God, am I doing something that is going to make this come back? And you worry about what you eat, you worry about chemicals, you worry about everything. And that can be exhausting. And that can, for some people, they get so into that it steals from the here and now, the present moment. And so to me, a thriver is someone that can appreciate the present moment, but can also move forward into the future. Whether they have cancer recurrence or not, it's about attitude. Yeah. So I identify more with being a thriver than a survivor.
I love that. And really that just applies to anything, like even with what's happening now.
Anything.
We can all be sitting at home worrying to death, like, am I going to get it? Is my family member, like just, we can worry ourselves to death, but that just takes you down a rabbit hole that's can be really hard to get out of. So that's why I'm excited to just talk with other coaches, share with other people. Like, a lot of people don't know what coaching is. A lot of people, most people know a coach is like a football coach, a basketball coach.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, this is different.
yeah.
And people think it's like counseling. And I challenge that. It's like, yeah, maybe a little bit, but really not. Coaching is really about moving forward, like I was just saying. So you go to a therapist, and actually coaching and therapy can blend really well together. You go to a therapist and you talk about what's going on now and what happened before and try to understand it. But when you talk to a coach, you're talking about what's happening now and how can I move forward from that? How can I make my life the best possible? And we're not, and I'm sure you agree with this, we've had this conversation too, we're not as concerned with what happened before. That's in the past. And yes, you appreciate that and you try not to make the same mistakes, but it's like taking what you have now and leaning into all your strengths and growing that, and then taking that energy and allowing that to take you forward rather than keeping you stuck.
Yes.
That's,
and dreaming about the future that you want and get excited about the future you want.
Yeah.
And so really we're just there to kind of help people kind of be the guide. And
like what's possible for you. Like,
really think about what's possible.
Yeah. Get outrageous, get audacious, get outlandish. What is possible for you? Okay. Well, what's the first step you have to take to get you toward that?
Yes. And even right now, so thinking about, let's say that it's 4 weeks from now that we finally get to crawl out of our houses, right? Like,
gonna crawl
4 weeks. Like, what do you want that life to look like? Like, how are you going to live differently 4 weeks from now when you get to go out into the world? How are you going to live differently? How are you going to change your, maybe even relate to your relationships differently?
I think a whole lot of people are going to have this wake-up call that a lot of people have already had who've been through a tough time already, like maybe someone like me who's been through cancer, or someone who's had a death in the family, or someone who's had a terrible relationship loss or something, some kind of hardship, and it's kind of like this epiphany, this wake-up call. And I think that we're all going to have this collective wake-up call and be more appreciative for the little stuff. That's what I'm hoping.
Yes. The little stuff, like being able to hop in your car and go meet a friend for coffee. Like how much more exciting that will be.
Yeah.
To hug people, to safely hug people.
Mm-hmm.
To go to church. I've really missed going to church. I'm lucky that I can watch it online, but just to go and be surrounded. We had a live event that was scheduled for Health Coach Institute that we can't go to. And I always looked forward to when I could get together with the Health Coach tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I think even the next time we get to do that will be so awesome.
Yeah, because humans, we need to be with each other. Having this physical separation is really, really hard. Really hard.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I don't live alone. And for people who do live alone, maybe not so hard for that. I don't know. I'm thinking for some folks who live alone who, are stuck in their house and they don't have the social interaction anymore with maybe their work has closed down for a while or whatever. I'm thinking it might be harder, but that's my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe some people are fine.
Yeah. So what's something you're excited about when you can go back out into the world? Is there a certain restaurant you're excited to go to, or what are you? Do you have something you're most excited about?
Yeah, if you talk about restaurants, yes. My husband, and it'll be the right weather time too. My husband and I have this restaurant that we love to go up to in Rye, New Hampshire. It's a lobster shack. I just want to get a lobster roll. It's this like little dive place, but it's got the best lobster roll.
Yeah.
In New England, in my opinion. So that's where I want to go. I need a lobster roll.
I'm disappointed that you pronounce lobster the way a Midwesterner were. I was waiting for you to say lobster.
Lobster. Well, if you talk to my family, they will probably say lobster. I think I lost my accent along the way because I went I went to college in Florida, and yeah. But you know, it's funny. I think when I'm around them a lot, it comes back.
Oh,
But yeah.
definitely. I had a hair client, and if she ends up watching, Joanne, I'm talking about you. She's from around New York, and I never ever heard her accent. And then one time we were talking about when I had gone to New York, and she asked me if I had flown into LaGuardia. That was the only time I was like, "Oh, what did you just say?" And she said LaGuardia. I'm like, "Okay, there we go." Like I never heard that accent, but it was funny.
Yeah, there's no R's pronounced. I mean, my
Yeah,
sisters all talk like that.
I love it.
And my husband lost his accent too, but his does come out. It's not completely gone, but um, and sometimes he'll say some stuff, and I'll just laugh, I'll giggle. I'm like, really? Yeah. 'Cause he went to college in Boston and grew up in Boston too, so
Yeah.
it's in us.
So who you've changed your focus. Who do you like coaching now? Like who's kind of your tribe that you're wanting to work with?
Yeah, so I coach adults who have had some kind of derailment in their life, whether it was, you know, a career loss or relationship loss, or they were sick, or they're stuck in some way, and they need a little push or help or accountability to move forward, because they realize that what they're doing is getting them nowhere, and they just can't even stand it anymore. And so I help them kind of do the reset and then propel forward, and I love it.
I love it. That's awesome. And you also are a coach, a success coach. So you help coach other coaches, which is awesome, who are
I
in training.
do. Yep, I coach coaches in training, which is a lot of fun, and it's amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm only like 2.5 years out from them, but I just so appreciate my own growth. Like, can I say that? Like, I've learned a lot. I put the work in though, but I've learned a lot, and I've been um, and I continue. Like, the more I coach these students, the better I get. Like, it's so true that to be able to be a good coach, you just have to do it. You have to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. You can't be a good coach by reading it or watching someone else do it. You have to do it and make the mistakes and trip over yourself, and realize that the person that you're coaching when you're first starting out, they're loving it anyway, because it's nothing they've ever done before, probably. And
Yes.
yeah, so as long as you're just a couple steps ahead of the person that you're working with, you're fine.
Yes. And that's what I loved about our training is we were learning about coaching, but in the meantime, we got coached. I mean, you've coached me through a lot of stuff. And, you know, I still work with coaches now. Like we continue to be coached. I mean, because we can only take people as far as we're willing to go
Right,
and
right.
invest in coaching for ourselves. And that's the beauty of it too. Like to experience coaching. Cause I know my life is completely different
Hmm.
today than it was when I first started.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too. And I gotta return the compliment. You've given me some excellent coaching over the years as well. So I want to thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, we know each other pretty well now.
Yes.
Some things we're not going to get into.
No, it's like Vegas. I
It's
keep
like Vegas.
always talking about
Okay. So I
it.
just outed myself. I got to show you what I'm wearing. Okay, so
Oh,
I'm normal here, but I'm wearing
you got
my
your fluffy jams on.
I got my fluffy jammies on. I didn't mean to show that, but since I did, I might as well go the whole way and show you. Hey, why not? We're working from home.
Well, I've got leggings on. I actually put shoes on to feel official, but I wore this yesterday. So I'm
Good.
sitting there trying
See,
to conserve water. I'm not
we're
gonna like,
conserving water. That's right. And
right?
electricity for the washer. You know, we're doing our part to heal this earth.
Thank God you
Limited
can't smell through
resources.
Zoom. We don't get in trouble.
Yeah. Smell-o-vision Zoom. No, not good.
No, no need for that. Oh, I love it. Yeah,
Well,
I would say, I don't know if there's a restaurant specifically that I'm excited for. Maybe it's because I'm not hungry right now.
mm.
Just any barbecue place. Oh, I love barbecue.
You know what I miss? I miss walking around And I will do this probably once a month just for like stimulation and colors. I like to walk around Marshalls or Home Goods and just walk up and down the aisles, and I just look at everything. It's not like I'm buying stuff. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I actually don't, but it gives me just visual stimulation and gets me creative, thinking creatively. And it's just relaxing for me. I miss doing that. That's what I want to do. I want to go to Home Goods and Marshalls and walk around.
Well, and you're lucky that you've got some beaches that aren't far. I mean, we have lakes here, but nothing like what you get to see.
Yeah, I took a week ago today, my daughter and I took a drive along the coast just to see the water again, and it was freezing, but it was sunny, blue sky day, and just to get out of the house, that was good. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Appreciate the beaches. And they're closed down right now.
Well, I'm sure everyone would be there if they were open, and that would defeat the purpose.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when the weather gets nicer, if we're over a certain phase of this, so that they can allow people to go. I hope so.
So what advice would you give someone who's just feeling really anxious right now? I mean, I think a lot of us are feeling anxious, but maybe those people who are kind of a step past that, like really living in fear. What would you recommend?
Number one, breathing. Get deep into your own breath and into your own source of energy, and try and block out what's going on all around you, even if it's just for 2 minutes. Just kind of go in and try to get present to where you are in your home, or you're outside in your yard, or just appreciate what is around you, whatever that may be, and try and stay away from thinking about what if this, what if that, and oh my gosh, when this is done, we're going to have a disaster on our, I think actually I heard a word from one of the founders, Stacy Morgenstern, and it was perfect. She said, it's disaster baiting. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great word. Don't be doing this disaster baiting stuff. So just think about the good stuff. And if you can't do it on your own, then connect to someone in your life, whether it's on the phone or on a Zoom call or texting, and think about things that make you feel good.
Amen.
Yeah.
And don't reach out to those who also.
Yeah. Shut the news off.
Like, reach out to people who generally can be a little more, inspirational. I think we all know there's certain people that probably, we want to reach out to them to give them some joy, but don't let them like suck you down the rabbit hole too. I just think the answer is gratitude. Like, I mean, I'm thankful it's spring. It's turning into spring, that this didn't happen November 30th and we had to go through winter, those of us who have nasty winters, like that would have been horrible to be trapped.
Imagine going through the holidays this way. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. I'm grateful. My husband and my daughter were in New York in early March, and they got home safely. They got to see Broadway shows. They didn't get sick. Like, I'm just so thankful that they got to have a cool experience there, and that they got home safe, and that they're not sick. So I just think that that little gratitude, the little things.
Yeah.
That we still have internet.
I know, we still have internet, thank gosh.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you and I couldn't be doing this right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I made the mistake. I got to admit something. So I've been hearing all about this tiger. What's it called?
Oh, yeah. Exotic tiger.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah, so, Joe Exotic.
I got sucked in and I watched the first 3 episodes last night.
I watched maybe the first half hour of the first episode and I couldn't take it. Is it good?
I don't know if I need to see any more. I just feel so normal. It's ridiculous.
I had been hearing all the buzz about it too. And I'm like, okay, so let's just watch it. And after about a half an hour, I was like, no. So I don't know what happened after the first half hour. It was like, it didn't grab my attention enough.
Yeah. So it's a perfect example. I got pulled into this weird world. And I just kept turning, my oldest daughter has already seen it. She watched it with us. And I just kept looking at her like, what? I think I'm done. I don't think I need to see
Yeah.
anymore, but I feel normal. I feel like, okay, I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good. I know, it's like the national obsession right now is watching that. There's a few other good ones though to watch on Netflix, but I actually haven't been watching any. I started to try to watch that and I didn't like it, so I turned it off.
Yeah.
But I haven't been watching a ton of TV. And
No.
my husband is a news junkie though, but I try to stay away from that. I'll watch it for a bit here and there. But I've been just working
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
staying
haven't
in
watched
this
much.
room that I'm in right now, and I'm just in my own little bubble.
Yep. I've been trying to do a lot of Zoom calls, reach out to people I haven't talked to for a while, check in on people. This
Hmm.
is a great time to maybe bury the hatchet with someone or just say hi. I mean,
Mm.
I think a lot of us don't talk to people anymore for something that's probably really stupid. But it's just continued like,
Yeah, once
well,
it
I'm
goes
not
on
calling
for a long
them.
enough time, you're like, oh, well, what's the point?
So
Yeah.
not everybody. I think that we have friends come and go as for a reason, but
Hmm.
that would be my challenge. If anybody has anyone that hasn't talked to a friend for a while, like what's the real reason? Like,
You know, it just reminded me of something that my brother did New Year's Day. And maybe I'll do it now. He went into his phone contacts. And you know, like we have phone contacts in there, tons in there, people we don't necessarily talk to. And he systematically went one by one and called them all, whether he had talked to them in years or not, and just wished them Happy New Year. And it was like a little experiment he did. And he had fun. And then people were just like, wow, you called me. Wow. Like maybe that's what we could do.
well, yeah, calling people is weird, right?
Yeah. Like who calls people anymore? Like that's so weird.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of welcome. People don't realize that it's still welcome.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
I'll give
And
my
maybe
tip.
it'll help you clear out
Yeah.
the clutter in your address book too. If they said, "Who the hell is this? Why are you
Yeah.
calling
Yeah.
me?" You're like, "Oh, I better delete them."
Delete.
I
Yeah.
think you were the guy that fixed my bathroom in my old house five years ago. Or
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, but even if it was that, like, how funny would that be if, like, say someone who was your client you haven't talked to in a long time, and they just out of the blue called you, you're in my address book, so I'm just calling to say, how are you? Like, I bet you would appreciate that.
oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll do
oh,
that.
good idea. What can we call that challenge? Address book challenge.
Yeah. Well, the address book challenge or yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything clever right now, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make sure that I add your social stuff so people can follow you. I'd like to close with your necklace, and I know that that is your logo. So explain to me
Oh,
the
yeah.
significance of that.
The significance of the starfish. I love starfish. I've always loved starfish, and I wanted it for my logo. I love that it symbolizes renewal and transformation, because when a starfish loses an arm, it keeps on going. It just grows another one.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you might lose something in your life, but you can replace it with something else that might be just as good and beautiful that you had not thought about before. So that's kind of my philosophy in coaching is like, you lose it, grow another one.
I
And
love it.
we have resources within ourselves to be able to do that.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. That's actually my oldest daughter, Marina. That's her nickname is Starfish. I don't know
Oh,
if I ever
really?
told you that.
You never told me that.
He was like 3 or 4 hours old in the bassinet at the hospital. The pediatrician comes in to do his first little, checkup on her. And he said that they were going to be checking her sight and her hearing. Well, somebody in the background, right after he said that, dropped a chart or dropped something on the floor. And she had been dead asleep. I just changed her diaper so she wasn't swaddled. And when they dropped that, she went out like this.
Yep.
Her arms and
Yep.
legs went out like a
Startle reflex.
totally whoop. And we laugh. We're like, she looks like a starfish, and that stuck. And that's her nickname.
That's a great nickname.
Yeah.
Fantastic nickname. I got my little mug. I put this on my Instagram yesterday because I was laughing at myself because I had caffeine-free coffee, but I spiked it with a scoop of Nutella. And I'm like, can I be a health coach and have a vice at the same time? Yes, I can. I can. It's okay.
Amen. I might have to go try that. This is my,
Oh,
it's
okay.
ginormous. I don't know if you can tell, but it's huge. It says slay the
Slay.
day.
Oh, I love that.
And then at the very bottom, it says best day. But I'm actually drinking, every day I've been drinking that emergency powder. The
Oh,
immune
yeah, we have
one.
that in this
It's got
house.
vitamin
Yeah,
D and vitamin C.
absolutely. Doing that and vitamins and making sure you sleep and drinking enough water, all the things that you got to do. And I'm letting myself have Nutella.
I might have to try that.
It's really good melted in a cup of coffee.
Oof.
It's like
Or
this,
just on the spoon.
yeah, or some spoon. Yeah, I mean, and I'm no stranger to that either. When I was working as the manager of the physical therapy place, I actually had a secret stash of it in my desk drawer with a spoon. And if I get stressed out, I go in the office and that was bad. I don't do that really anymore. Well, maybe sometimes, but
Just not as often.
not as often. You can't deprive yourself of everything all the time. You have to have little treats here and there. So Nutella is one of my yummies.
That sounds good. I'm going to try that. I'll send a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you
Oh,
so much. I miss
well,
chatting
thank
with you.
you.
And
I know. I miss talking to you and seeing you in person. And I know we were supposed to see each other coming up, and we're not going to be able to. But I'm so grateful that we have this way to communicate. And thank you for inviting me onto your Zoom call today. It's been really fun.
yes, it's so cool. Before all this started, one of my things in my health coach book was I want to do some shows, whether it was a podcast or whatever, with other coaches. And I literally have a list. And you were at the top of my list.
Oh,
And Pam was at the top of my list, and I'm talking to her tomorrow. And I thought, why not do it now?
yeah. Why not now? This is the perfect time. People
So
are available and people are looking for stuff to learn and do and watch. And yeah, if we can, even if only one or two people see it and they get something from it, great.
exactly. That's what it's
But
all
I
about.
think more people are going to see your stuff, Wendy. You're a pretty phenomenal.
Oh, it's all about the poof.
It's all about the poof. Like, yeah, like I wish you told me. I would have done that to my hair. I would have like ponytailed my hair like that. I've never done that as an adult. I think I need to do it.
It is super fun to have pigtails. I'm not gonna. I just feel like a little kid.
I'm gonna do it later, and I'll text you a picture.
Yes, do it today. What's today? I don't even know what day it is.
April 2nd.
Today's Thursday. We could have Thursday be Piggy Day.
Piggy Tail Day.
Piggy Tail Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's end with give me one word, like a positive word to take us through the weekend.
A positive word to take us through the weekend. You put me on the spot. I'm usually good at this, and right now, one word. It's hard. One word.
The word that came to me was shiny.
Shiny. How about momentum?
Ooh, I like that.
Let's just keep moving forward. Even though right now we're all slowed down and we feel like we're stopped, we don't have to feel stopped. We can still, even if it's a little teeny weeny bit, we can still keep moving forward.
Love it. Momentum. Shiny momentum.
Shiny momentum.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stop recording.